Hey everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching. So I'm going to show you today how to make this little, I guess it's like a letter to Santa gift box. I've used a stamp that a lot of you will probably recognise, and I'll show you that in a moment. We've got some heat embossing. I've used a real wax seal, which I'm going to be doing towards the end. Now, ideally, I would actually seal this twine within the wax, but because I'm making these ahead of time, and I want to obviously share the tutorial, I've just added mine onto there and then put the twine around. But I'll just take this off here, just so you can see inside. I'll just loosen that up. So I've got to and from on the front, just like you would on the front of an envelope. Like I said, on the back there is the wax seal, and then I've got a Velcro dot. And then inside you've just got this little gift box. Now the idea for this is, I thought, to put a gift card in. So you could attach it with a glue dot onto this piece here, or have it on a separate card inside. But you can also put some sweet treats in there as well. Or you can pop, you know, some other bits and pieces. I know some fancy shops, when they do their gift cards, they actually have them in a box. That box will probably fit inside this one as well. So I just thought it was another fun way. I love that it is in the you know, it's like a little box envelope. And there's Santa on the front reading the list, and I've got a little festive stamp there as well. Some real bells, because you've got to have bells at Christmas time, but it's pretty easy to make, so let me show you how. So I've already gone ahead and stamped and coloured my image there, and that was using the Father Christmas image from this set here. Now these were all the free stamps from the issue 100 of Creative Stamping, so I've still got my the original packaging here because I need to take the names of them. So this was Cute Christmas, and that's the Santa there, and then there was also Enchanted Christmas. There's this one, I've got another one there as well, but that's the set. You might still be able to get them. I know some people have managed to find the odd one in the shops, but that's the image that I've used. I popped a little bit of glossy accents on his glasses there, and I just coloured that with my coloured pencils. The to and from was from this set that I found in a charity shop. It's an older Stampendous one. It's got the to and from there. And then for the stamp that I'm going to be stamping, this is just an unbranded die stamp set that I was actually sent, so I don't know who this is by. If anyone can let me know in the comments, but it's just that little one there. So that's all of those bits and pieces. Now mine is very plain, just red and white, but you can obviously cover this with pattern paper if you would prefer. So this is a piece of 8 1/4 by 11. Along the 11-inch side you want to score it 2.5, 3.5, 7.5 and 8.5. And then along the 8 1/4 side you want to score it 1/2 inch. I think I've done that side. 1/2 inch, 1.5, 6 3/4. You'll see here I've got a little marker at 4 1/8. Just put a little notch in there with your stylus. It's just the middle of this section here, and that's going to create the triangular shape to the box, and then just flip and do the same at this end here as well. I've also then got these little markers. Again, there's the middle there, but I've got them on these sides within that rectangle. So all you want to do is just pop your ruler 1/2 inch up, and just again put a little marker there with your stylus. We're going to be cutting from that marker across to this one, and then again down to that one there. It's basically going to give you this little bit here. This is 1/2 inch. Okay, I'll go through all the measurements for the mats and layers in a minute. Get rid of your scoreboard. Next you want to fold and burnish all of the score lines. Okay, next we want to do some cutting. So if you work along one of the long sides here, you'll have this middle section and 2 smaller pieces, and then some longer again. If you first of all just remove the small one here and the long one there, I'm going to break it down. You end up cutting more away, but if I just do this way, I think sometimes people find it easier to do it in smaller chunks. I'm just taking that little thin piece away, and do that again on this end here. Next you want to remove this section here. So you're just going to cut across that square, what you got here, and then cut down. So once you've made these, you can just cut that whole piece in one go, but you can see how we're just doing it a bit clearer this way. And again, just about see that little marker that I put the 1/2 inch from before. Okay, then you want to cut down that one. So you now release that square, and again, because this is going to be the tab, and that one there. Okay, now what I would also suggest is just taking a little wedge off of the corners there, just so that that can fold in nicely. And again on that one, and I'm just going to take a little bit off of the corners here and here. Okay, so that's the shape that you want. You now want to do that again on the opposite side, so just flip it around, and again I'm going to cut this all the way, but this time I'm just going to come straight down here, and then I can just cut that piece away and cut that piece away, and then just cut down that one there. Okay, so now you should have something like this. Next, you want to cut from that little marker you've got here to that 1/2 inch marker. If you want to use a trimmer, then you can. You're just cutting there and then across to that one there. If you can still see some of that mark, if you just turn it over, you can actually rub out score lines and get rid of the lump. You can see there. Now you can see we've got the top of that box envelope. So you want to do the same then on the opposite end. So I cut across, and then again from that 1/2 inch marker across. And then just tidy up any little bits. If you can see any score lines and things like that, you can remove that. But you should now have this kind of shape. Then we want to make the side pieces. So these are these extra pieces. I've already cut this one here, so you can see now we're just going to make the other sides. So this is a piece of 4 by 2 3/4. Along the 4 inch side, just mark halfway, so 2 inches, and then come up 1/2 inch on both the short sides. So we're just doing exactly what we did here, but these are just separate pieces. And then again, I'm just going to cut over from those little markers to form that triangle, like so. And you'll just want 2 of those. Again, if you've got any little score lines that you can see, just rub over those. So now we can attach these to the sides here. So you want to add your glue all along the tab, and then you just want to sit that one over the top, and then you want to do the same on this side. And now they will fold round, and this will all fold in the sides here. You can see we've got our little box envelope. Next we want to add all of the mats and layers. So if you flip it over this way, so this one will go in the middle, but I want to do a bit of heat embossing, so I'm going to leave that to one side for the moment. I've got these pieces for the small shorter sides, and then for the longer top and bottom there. So we'll stick these ones down first. So these all measure 3/4 inch wide, but you'll want 2 that are 5 inches long and 2 that are 3 3/4 inch long. So I'm going to stick those down. If you want to emboss these, or they may be, like I said, pattern paper, then you want to, do all that before you stick it down, or you might be stamping onto these pieces. Next, you want 2 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 2 3/8. Along the 3 3/4, you want to mark halfway, so that will be 1 7/8. And then you want to come up 3/8 inch, so not half like the others. This time, just 3/8. And if you just do one of them, so I've already done that one, but then on this next one, you can just sit it on there and just cut around or draw around it. So next, you want to cut from the pencil marks to that point, just like you did on the others. You don't have to rub the pencil out, because you can just stick this side down like so. And now that one, you'll see, will fit in there, and then this one on the other side. So I'm going to get those stuck down. You could maybe pull this white piece to 2 1/2, not 2 3/8 that I said, just if you want to bring it up a bit closer, but you don't actually see those points because they get stuck. You know, this all covers it up, so I wouldn't worry. But you can see it's a little bit thicker there. It just needs to be pulled up a little bit taller. Then I've got these 2 pieces, which are 2 3/4 by 5, and you want to do exactly the same thing. So this time along the 5-inch side, we're going to mark at 2 1/2, and then again we're going to come up 3/8 of an inch on these 2, and you want to then cut those exactly the same way. Okay, so that's those all stuck down, and then I want to do a little bit of heat embossing. So I've got my anti-static little buddy here, so I'm just going to rub that over the corner, and then let's take this stamp. So I'm going to use my stamping platform for this, so just popped it in the corner there. And then I've got my Versamark here, the watermark stamp. There's lots of other ones as well. This is the one, to be honest, I've had these for so many years, I just refill them with the re-inkers. Just do that a couple of times. You can just see it there. And then I've got the Nouveau Gold embossing powder here. Just sprinkle that all over. And that's covered it pretty well. Make sure your heat gun is very, very hot, and then just set that. I'm not too worried that it's warped, but if you just heat all of the rest of it, so it's all warm, and then what you can do is just add a little curve into that as it's cooling, and it'll just make it easy now for you to stick that down. So you can see that that's stamped and set really nicely. So that's now going to go in the middle. So I'm going to again use my glue, get that stuck down. Okay, so next we can start to stick this together. So I'm going to start from the bottom, and you just want to add your glue on one of your tabs and just bring it under, and you're going to stick it under that other piece there to form your corner. Okay, you only need to do it on the bottom too, because the top ones are just going to fold in like so. So next we want to attach these 3 together. So I'm going to add my glue down both the sides here. And then just hold that all in place. Just make sure this is all kind of grabbed, and then what you can do is if you flip it over, you can get your hand in there and just push down along the 2 sides. Okay, so then you've got something like this. Next we want to add the wax seal. Now if you're going to do yours with, you want to put your gift in now, close all of this, close this one down, wrap the twine around, and then seal it with the wax seal. That's what I would probably recommend doing. But if you do want to make them beforehand, which is what I'm obviously doing, then you want to add your seal now. So I've got myself a silicone mat here so that it's not going to stick to anything else. Let me just bring all this in here. So I've already got my candle on, so I'm going to pop that underneath. I will link everything that I'm using here. I've got one of my favourite wax seals. This one says Official North Pole Seal, and you can see that in more detail there. Really lovely one. I picked this one up last year, but I think it's still available. So you want to open this up and pop it up like that, because we're going to be sticking on here. So I'm just going to use that just to kind of weigh that down a little bit. So the colours that I want to use are those kind of coppery gold ones, which are just here, but you get all kinds of colours, so you can obviously personalise this however you want, but I'm going to use the same ones, and I'm using 3 or 4 depending on the size of the wax, you know, the wax pieces that you've got, but I think that gives you the right amount. So I'm just going to let that melt. It shouldn't take too long because the little spoon here was already very hot, but you can see it melting. Now, I don't interfere with mine. Some people stir them if you're mixing colours and stuff. I actually like to just leave it, and then when you pour it, you can move it and create some nice you know, effects and stuff. But because it's all the same colour, I'm leaving it anyway, and try not to let it bubble. You want to kind of stop there, but it shouldn't take too long. Okay, it's just starting to smoke. That may or may not be picking up in the camera. It looks like it's not melted. That bit still looks like it's that you know, solid, but it's fine. I've got a little bubble on the side there, but you can just remove those like so. And then I'm going to pour this. I want most of it on the card, but I do, you know, some of it will go over, but I'm just going to try and keep it in a nice circle. So most of it is on there, but once we add the wax seal, it's going to squash it down. So I'm just going to blow that out. And then I want to make sure I've got my Father Christmas up the right way. And then just place it in the middle, and you should get a nice amount coming out the sides there. And I want it to be slightly, you know, coming over onto the silicone mat there, so that when I add the Velcro to the back and close it, you can see there where it's come off the edge. Just looks quite nice. So now you just leave that for about a minute, I would say. You'll know when it's done because this will just, you can just tap it and it will just very easily fall off. Okay, so again, just give it a little tap, you'll see it lift, and now we've got a really lovely wax seal that I can just take off the mat there. You can see how wonderful does that look. And now when I go to close it, it just finishes off the box perfectly. So I've got my Velcro dots, and I'm just going to add a pair to the back. So just pop it in the middle there. Make sure your wax is completely hardened, and then I'm just going to tack that kind of in place so I can see where it needs to go. I can just about see that actually, because there's nothing in it yet. It's nothing for me to push down on, but just make sure you'll be able to see underneath. Yeah, that's perfect. There we go. A very cute little envelope box for any gifts, but I just thought it was nice for a gift card, small presents, or even a real letter to Father Christmas. And then if you want to finish it off with some twine, I'm going to leave this one for now, but you can see here, if I just undo this one actually, I've just got my bells at each end, and you just wrap it around, but I would seal it underneath that wax seal. You could probably even just pop it underneath there a little bit anyway. You get the idea. And then you can tie that off on the front or on the top as I showed you at the beginning. But again, I'm going to leave all of that off because I'm going to do all this when I actually put the real gifts in. But I might not even put the twine on both of them. I think you could put a little bow on top as well. But if I just bring this one back again, you can see how they look. Really, really fun. So I hope you like this gift card envelope box idea from me today. I think at Christmas time it's all about the details that you add. So the wax seal, you know, a little bit of heat embossing on there. And those are the things that I love to do. So although it's quite simple in its decor, I think it's still a really effective and quite sweet looking little gift box. And you could make loads of these as well, batch make them and maybe give them to children in school, maybe for your kids to take and give to their friends. I don't know. I think there's lots of sweet ways to use these. So I look forward to seeing what you do. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be back very soon with more Christmas tutorials. Take care. Bye.